on that laptop, you click on, got it.
Thank you, Colleen. Call this meeting to order on December 15th at 6:04 PM. First order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we take roll call?
Counselor Coker,
Here.
Counselor Bjornson,
Here.
Counselor Whitney,
Here.
Counselor Hooker,
Here.
Mayor Hollett,
Here.
Counselor Kenyon,
Here.
Counselor Splitoff,
Here,
Thank you. Any additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda? I want to bring up that we have a really lengthy meeting tonight, so we are going to choose a time that we need to end tonight, and then we have an option out of Robert's rules where we can fix the time to which adjourn and then place these extra items on the next meeting. So if there's a little bit of discussion between council, what time you guys would like to adjourn tonight? And then we can move the rest to another meeting.
Well, I have to say I am exhausted. I've had a long week with sick children. One in the hospital, so
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
it's okay. She's fine now, but I'm working and taking care of her and all of that. I'm proof that I don't have a lot of in my
Okay.
pain. So
Okay.
8 o'clock. 8 sounds perfect.
Is 8 o'clock a consensus with the rest of the council?
8 is fine with me, Mayor.
8 is fine with me too, Mayor.
Thank you, Audie. I think you're muted.
yeah, I had a phone call come in to interrupt. I had shut my phone off.
Okay.
What time was it?
We have a consensus of 8 PM. So when we reach that
Yeah,
time.
8 or 9 to do.
Okay, and then when we reach that time, we'll talk about when to reconvene the meeting. So additions and corrections, I do have a couple things I want to change up here. We have a guest here in the audience, Michelle Emons with the Chambers, which is 9.9, so I will probably put that. Is Jason Nemers on the Zoom?
I see
Okay.
his name pop
Yes,
up a
he
minute
is.
ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, I am.
Okay, hi, Jason.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna put Michelle right up after you, after 9.3, and then we'll continue on. And then.
Thank you.
Yeah, we probably won't finish everything up on here. So is there any other adjustments or corrections or additions? All right, mayor comments. I just wanted to say, we had a really tragic event. This happened this weekend at the parade, and I hope everybody gives good thoughts to the family that was involved. And we're all very thankful that that person is here with us and doing well. Other than that, I don't have any other comments tonight. Any other council comments? Any other council comments?
We do have our
Oh, yeah,
holiday.
good job. Yeah, we have our city appreciation holiday party tomorrow night, or excuse me, Saturday night at the bowling alley, 6 to 9 PM. If for any reason you did not get an invitation and you are a city employee or city and volunteer, please let us know. I've been going through the list and I have found some people that were kind of slipped through the cracks. So I've been trying hard to go through that and make sure everybody gets one. Thank you for reminding me that.
You're welcome.
Any other thing? Go ahead, Councilor Kenyon.
I just wanted to double check I know we have a huge agenda, but we had asked before to get an update on the Hills Street maybe next
Yeah.
meeting, I don't
Yeah.
care, I just noticed it wasn't on the agenda for tonight, so I wanted to.
Correct, we don't have costs, we don't have full costs. We don't have all the information we need for this, meeting, so it is.
Okay.
you know, First meeting in January.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselors on Zoom, do you have anything?
Nothing here.
Nothing there.
Nothing here, Mayor.
All right, thanks, guys. Consent agenda. Everybody have a chance to look over all the minutes? And is there a motion or any, did you have any corrections?
I have a quick question. I didn't get a copy of the, well, take that back. I couldn't access my email to see if you sent copies of the revised.
I believe I made that minor change and I thought I sent it out in packet 3 or 4.
Okay,
And I sent it to you again, as you asked.
I changed it on my end as well,
okay,
on the ones I printed out to be signed.
then I am good with it.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second
that.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Whitney and seconded by Counselor Kenyon. Call for the vote.
Counselor Coker, Aye. Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye,
Counselor Splitoff,
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. This is from the City Council 9.1 committee appointments. First one up is a renewal for Linda Karamer on the Parks and Community Services. Everybody have your committee spreadsheet with you, and Linda's should be the very first one.
So I'll start, I'll make a motion, we appoint Linda Kemmer to the Parks and Community Services Committee.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Whitney and seconded by Counselor Splitoff. Is there any discussion for Linda Karamer?
I would just like to say she's been on this committee for quite some time and she's been a fantastic asset for this community. She's been the committee, I mean, she's in community.
Yeah.
She's been very involved, really helped push some projects forward and just does a wonderful job and is just a wonderful member to have on that committee.
I agree with Counselor Whitney. Any other discussion? Counselor Hooker, did you take yourself off mute to talk or no?
No.
Okay, Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Splitoff,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
aye,
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Linda Karamer, for your time. Next one are the two committee appointments is myself and Counselor Whitney, and I'm gonna hand this one over to James to talk about.
I think there was some concern in our previous appointments of sitting council members that are retiring or otherwise, that we appointed to these committees for next year as citizens. They had not filled out a paper application. I looked into resolution 2-2016. It's a little ambiguous. There's nowhere that specifically states that all applicants must fill out an application, but it does say that all submitted applications must have this and that. So there are rules for what the submitted applications have to have in them. But there's nothing that says you have to submit an application, but in the abundance of caution, recommended that we revote now that the submitted written applications are in. Just so there's no potential issues. Because it's ambiguous resolution. So we have, a written application from Mayor Hollis for the WAC subcommittee and the special fire district subcommittee. And one from Councilor Whitney for the WAC subcommittee as well. Again, these were already voted on, discussed, although Mayor Hollis, at last meeting, did we appoint both of those?
No, last
Well, it doesn't-
meeting I only
okay.
learned.
Well, it doesn't matter, actually,
Um,
we're voting anyway, so. Discussion, so.
Mhm. Oh, I'm
Oh, wait a
sorry.
minute, I'm gonna make a motion. I move to appoint Chrissy Hollett to the WAC subcommittee and the special district subcommittee, as well as Bobby Whitney to the WAC subcommittee.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Kenyon and seconded by Counselor Coker. Is there any discussion? Do you guys have any questions of both of us? Go ahead, Counselor Spleedoff.
Yes, I was just making sure here that being you and both Counselor Whitney are on the WAC committee. Can you still be on the can we vote you in even though you're not off the committee yet, or any of the committees? If you're on it now as a counselor, can we actually vote you into that committee
Yes,
because you're in there as a counselor, not as a person? Regular.
If it makes you feel better, it can always be effective January 1st, 2020.
Well, that, I think that's the intention.
Mhm.
It was initially.
I'll amend my motion to add,
I can't hear
I'm amending my motion to add effective 2023, January.
I'll accept the amendment.
Jackie,
it. I
could
don't
you,
know how to make the sound come on.
Jackie, could you mute Holly Tarman? Is there any more discussion or question of the counselors?
No,
Jackie, will you call for the vote? And are you gonna vote? I'm gonna go ahead and not vote.
I guess not. I don't think it matters.
Are you guys gonna vote?
I'm gonna abstain from voting
I'll
for
abstain
myself
as
well.
well.
Okay.
Thanks.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Spleedoff, Counselor Bjarnson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
may I just add while we're on this discussion that I sent out the most revised spreadsheet of committee members. I just want to remind folks that all the committee members were read. They expire at the end of this year. I sent emails to all of them, have not heard back. So everyone who's been read will drop off starting January 1st, and those seats will then be open January 1st. If we don't get applications in. If they decide starting January 1st that they want to reapply, that's fine. But they would have to go through the full process, full application. They'd have to be at the meeting, and there may be others that want the seat as well. which is, competition is good. But just to remind folks of that. And also, in January, each committee must elect a new chair or continue their chair, so I need to hear from committees. In January, basically, who the chair is for each committee.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Thank you, counselors. Thank you, James. That was it for committee appointments, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a hand? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to ask James, could you send out that resolution 06/2016? I mean, 02/2016.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, 9.2 revised MOU with Oak Ridge Disc Golf Course, Golf Club, including the fee waivers. Jason, go ahead, James.
Okay, so we have in front of us 9.2. We have it's basically a revised MOU with the Disc Golf Club. Currently, Public Works was responsible for mowing basically a couple times a year if they could get to it. As you know, they're very short staffed, takes a lot of staff time to do this big area. The Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club has offered to take over all maintenance of the grounds in exchange for having their events be fee waived. Because they're putting in hundreds of hours of work. So yes, the city would lose up to $2,500 a year in rental fees, but the amount of time they put in is well over that. So it's still a better deal for the city in the long run. I'm sure a concern sometimes that is what happens.
Unmuted.
Is what happens if the disc golf club dissolves or they stop taking care of the place. We put that in the contract.
Mayor Hollett, I'm sorry, but we can't hear what he's saying.
They're muted.
On.
Could you not hear me at all, or?
Yeah, you was muted.
Oh, I was muted, okay. Okay, I'll start over, so we've revised the minimum understanding contract with the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club. The old agreement was that Public Works would twice a year mow the grass, do the abatement on the disc golf course area. They are shorthanded. It takes a lot of time to do that. The disc golf club has picked up the slack and put in hundreds of hours with dozens of volunteers to do that work. So we have revised the MOU. And the disc golf club will take over all of that maintenance. So Public Works doesn't have to do anything anymore in exchange for their events being fee waived. And I'll remind council that we've waived fees on a couple of their things anyway, such as their charity event for veterans. So yes, the city would lose up to $2,500 in rental fees. That's the maximum. But in exchange, Public Works doesn't have to put in hundreds of hours maintaining the ground, which would cost us well over the $2,500 in man hours. And there's a safety measure put in that if for some reason they're not keeping it up to par, you say this golf term, then Public Works will send them a letter. They have 30 days to cure any deficiencies. If they don't, contract is broken. They don't get fee waivers anymore. So that the safety measure is in there. This agreement is backed by Robert Grisman and Rick Zylstra. They're very much in favor of this new agreement. and I'm in favor of it as well. The disc golf club has taken excellent care of that property. As long as they continue to do so, I think it's well worth waiving their fees, because they're basically doing work we have to do anyway. A lot of, because it's not just taking care of the disc golf course, it's also some abatement areas that we have to take care of from DEQ standards anyway, so we really appreciate the disc golf club and the work they've done, and this agreement just works out great for the city and great for the clubs.
Thank you, James. Counselor Hooker?
Yeah, just one question is that I'm not familiar with our fees on that type of thing. Is that per year up to that amount or for the term of the, what is it, 5 years?
That's per year, so for the rental fees, it's $500 to rent the disc golf course per day. So like a couple tournaments of 2 days, that's like $1,000. And then parking areas. So it's 500 total, because you basically have to do the parking area, which is 200 plus. The disc golf course is 300. You basically have to do both at a tournament because players have to pay. So yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Council. Was that all, Counselor Hooker?
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, Counselor Whitney.
Okay, a question I have, you said that volunteers would be maintaining park. Do we have applications for them, from those volunteers, volunteer applications with the city? That way we know that they are covered for any liabilities.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you did have everybody sign those waivers when last year when you started. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, and plus the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club is the 501c3, which has its own insurance as well.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're covering that liability.
Counselors, any other questions? Go ahead, Counselor.
Will this mean that we won't even need to get an application for the event? Or
Well, for the fee waivers, correct. So like
the fee waivers will be automatic, but we'll still get an application that this event is happening on this day. And
yes, that way we can plan for it. Yeah, the forms, because there are other requirements when you rent property, like if it's over 100 people, you have to have security, etc. All that stays the same.
okay,
It's just the fee waiver. All the other rules stay in place.
Thank you. Jason, did you have anything you wanted to add to this?
I think James did a really good job, but yeah, just that we put a lot of work into that place, and it's for our benefit, of course, but it is also for the benefit of the public. And if you go out there and walk around, you'll notice it's a lot of improvements, and we work on a lot of things. We just keep on upgrading and improving things, and those blackberries don't cut themselves.
And I should mention that it's actually beneficial that it's kept up to this super high quality level they're doing. We already have someone not affiliated with their club that wants to rent the facility for their tournament. And that's not covered because they're not part of the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club. This guy's from out of state, I think. So it'll actually attract more business potentially, because those tournaments, they'll have to pay the rental fee to the city.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion.
Wait, Counselor Hooker, did you have another
Sorry.
question?
I have a question, but my understanding, don't we need to make a motion, a second, and then discuss?
We could do that. Yeah, go ahead, Counselor.
Okay, I move to allow the city administrator to sign the revised MOU with the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Whit and seconded by Counselor Kenyon. Go ahead with discussion, Counselor Hooker.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the negative person to a certain extent. I think it's a great idea. My only concern, 5 years is a long time. Even though that clause is in there, and I know it's good for the community. I know there's a lot of people that use it and the competition is sometimes really deadly. But I just don't feel comfortable with a 5-year agreement. Would there be a possibility of maybe making it a shorter term and then go from there, like maybe 2 years? That's it. Thank you.
Counselor Spleedoff had his hand up next.
Yes, that'd be taking jobs away from our city employees. How do they feel about it? Are we going against any union contract?
So I'm sorry, Counselor, I think I explained it the first time, not the second time. But Public Works is fully in favor of this.
Okay,
Yeah, they've got plenty to do and they're really happy to have it help.
and I agree with Jan that a 5-year contract, that's gonna span over approximately 3 different committees, and that is an awful long time. You know, because we'll have another vote in another 4 years, so there'll be a different council in. So I'd like it to be a shorter one if we could.
Okay, go ahead, Counselor Whitney.
I'm fine with the 5 years. Just thinking about having been a counselor for the last 4 years, it's gone by pretty quickly and, and we're still discussing some of the same stuff we discussed when we started as counselors. So 5 years really doesn't seem like very long to me. And I think, 5 years is just a very appropriate and fine number.
Counselor Kenyon?
I agree with Counselor Whitney, and I also reviewed our first MOU with the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club. It was also a 5-year agreement. So I see no reason why we should change that now. And I have every bit of confidence that the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club will uphold to their agreement. And if they don't, it's already written in there that they lose their fee waiver. So I think it's a really good idea to keep the 5 years.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, I wasn't sure if this was in here, so I didn't say anything, but now I'm reading it, that I did put a provision in here that either party can get out of the contract with 30 days notice. So that is in there. I just wasn't sure, but now I'm sure. So we can give them 30-day notice for any reason and contract with them as well. So basically the 5 years is, yes, Councilor Kenyon is right. I just kept it at 5 years. That way we don't have to write a new contract. We're gonna have to sign a new contract every 2 years. It used to be 5, but we can get out of it 30 days.
Any more discussion? It really sounds like a win-win to me, so I don't have a lot to say. No more discussion. Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Hooker,
She's muted.
There we go.
Sorry about that. Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Spleedoff,
Aye,
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all. Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to apologize to everybody in the audience. We were in such a hurry to get the meeting kicked off and move things around that I completely skipped over public comment, and we have some people here in the audience. I wanted to give them a chance for public comment. We'll start in the room first. If there's anyone in here, and I apologize again, it was not intentional. I just was trying to get the meeting started. Brian Cutchin, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Brian Cutchin, 48,300 Middle Street. As I was looking over the extensive packet and looking at the resolutions for the committees, and I noticed that the one clause in there concerning removal of committee members, does not jive with our council rules of procedures ordinance, so might be worthy of a look, to see if maybe we can make those two match up. For both committees.
You said there's I'm sorry, there's a clause for what?
Removal of committee members. And there's also a clause in the council rules of procedures ordinance,
So they don't match.
they don't match.
Thank you.
And that's chapter 7.
Council rules?
Yeah, council rules, chapter 7. 2E, which reads removals, all appointed persons may be removed by the mayor, subject to approval by the council. That's appointments for committees.
Oh. And the resolution says,
All members have to agree from the committee, have to agree, and then it goes to city council.
Council rules supersede.
yeah, council rules would supersede, however, I'm thinking,
Maybe it just
seeing
didn't-
how if it's on a committee, the committee's sole job is to make recommendations to council. Committees don't decide anything. They make recommendations to council. So ultimately, it would fall to that once the recommendations been made.
Okay,
Yeah, and I don't see any reason for them not to match though.
so maybe we could follow that discussion on 9.6 under audit committee resolution, because that's what it regards, right? The audit committee.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Okay, so let's add that there, that the council rules don't match. We can talk about it later. Was that all? Anybody else in public for public comment? Anybody on Zoom for public comment? If you are on Zoom for public comment, just raise your little emoji hand. Colleen, are you able to see if anyone's raising their hand? Doesn't show up for us here.
I can't see anybody.
Okay. Yeah, Karen.
Can I make a quick?
Yeah, it's public comment time. That's the
Okay,
time
quick
for it.
question. I'm just wondering when the Public Safety Committee, if there's been decisions made about when those committees will begin to meet.
Your counselor for that is Counselor Coker, so get in touch with her and she'll let you know. All right, hearing no more public comment, moving on. That brings us to 9.3 RTMP funding request, again with Jason Niemer for the Middle Fork Open Disc Golf Tournament. 9.3.
I'll give a brief overview of the issue. The Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club has applied in, like they did last year, for $2,500 in RTMP funds for the club. Little Open Disc Golf Tournament, July 29th and 30th. Their application is cash. And that is supportable to decide, and basically have more.
So our prior motion would change what the request is in this, correct? No?
This is the RTMP.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it does not look like that. Okay, thank you.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, well, I was the fee waiver thing.
Well, it would slightly change it because in their application, they've asked for $500 for the park rental.
Yeah,
So that would take off $500. Thank you.
yeah, on page, I was just looking at that. That's,
Oh, I thought
Right
you were
there.
talking about a fee waiver.
yeah, a park fee waiver.
They included that
Sorry.
in their request.
Okay,
They requested money from RTMP to cover the fees that they would then pay us, but that's null and void now.
Yeah.
real quick. That's fine.
All right, well, go ahead, Jason, go ahead and we'll give you an opportunity, or does actually somebody want to make a motion first and then we'll open it up for discussion for James or Jason?
Need to get back to it.
Right,
I don't know that we need to, because you're right, they all are fee waivers.
It says ×3. In the essence of time, go ahead, Jason. I'll let you go ahead and start talking about your event.
Thank you. And yes, 500 in there is for the fee waiver, so that can be taken off. I guess it would be 2,000 now. Yeah, so basically, the Middle Fork Open has happened. This is going to be our 3rd year doing it. It encompasses the Old Mill and the Westford course. It's our biggest tournament of the year. It is a B tier sanctioned PDGA tournament, which means we have to add $750 added cash. Hence, it would be nice to have some money coming in that way. And the players packs, we try to make them super sweet. So we probably order about $2,000 worth of stuff. Brings in a huge crowd. This year, unfortunately, with the Cedar Creek wildfire, we ran into some stumbling blocks. We had to reschedule, then we had to reschedule again. So we kind of really, the club took a big hit this year. We spent $500 on portable toilets, and we did not get that back. We had to spend another $500 on portable toilets. So that's another part of the fee as well. So this year this next season, we're coming back stronger and better than ever. We really want to, and we got our date set. We're in July this time, which is hopefully before wildfire season. And then we can rock and roll with this event and bring in a lot of people to the Oak Ridge and Westford area.
And looking at the applications, the Veterans for Vets, Mountain Town Throwdown,
Actually, the next one.
and Middle Fork Opens are the ones that I see in here.
It's the next one. It's 9.3.
Now I'm looking
Middle Fork Open. Yep.
Oh,
the property rental applications, all 3 of them say it's waived requested for the fees. So the $2,500 that's requested, and you go back to the actual applications, it shows that it's for fee waivers.
This is only for the Middle Fork Open. I'm asking $22,000 for the Middle Fork Open. Only.
Okay. There was 3 attached, so that's what I was looking at.
so you're looking at the 9.2, which
So
was,
I'm looking, yeah.
which those were attached to that. I think they're examples. Which was,
They might be park fee rental forms.
yeah,
It's actually the budget form that you
Yeah.
submitted for the event
it's under 9.3.
that shows 500 was for the
Yeah.
park rental.
I did it too. 9.3 looks like that, and then
Yeah,
a couple pages in, it's
9.3.
that.
Those ones I didn't see.
Sorry, Jason, we're just clarifying.
You got a lot of paperwork for us.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's okay. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
It might be in a different email.
Yeah, it's just for. So $1,000 for personnel, 200 for equipment.
Yeah.
I can rent 800 for administrative folks.
I think that's for the insurance. And
Yeah, insurance and tournament directing. Such.
So what sort of funding do we have left in our RTMP?
That's what I wanted to know.
I actually have that for you.
19,000.
Our current RTMP balance is $23,836.50.
Okay.
And that's RTMP only, not
RTMP only, that is correct, and that comes in once a year in November, and last year it was $18,000.
you mean this year?
Thank you. That will fluctuate a little bit, same with TRT funds, which are actually going up 2% starting January 1st. The hotel taxes go from 8% to 10%. And so we're gonna be receiving a little bit more TRT money.
When does TRT come in?
That comes in monthly.
Okay.
Our current balance on TRT is $14,869.50. if he wants.
Thank you, James.
All right, do we have a motion for Jason?
Yeah, I move to approve $2,000 in RTM fee funds to be granted to the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club for the 2023 Middle Fork Open Disc Golf Tournament.
Second.
I'll
Is that-
second that.
Motion made by Counselor Whitney and seconded by Counselor Hooker. Any more discussion or questions for Jason?
Yes,
Counselor Spleedoff?
he was actually asking for 2,500.
Yeah, we discussed that part.
It was-
The
Well, I
five,
wasn't sure where we were at. There was
Well,
so much discussion going back and forth, so I just
So-
want to make sure.
we gave him the opportunity to essentially do in-kind work. So that there would not be a need for that $500 fee waiver for the rental anymore.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right, Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Spleedoff,
I,
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Bjarnson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Jason, for attending all the work you guys do.
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna move on to 9.9 with Michelle Emens. She's here to talk to us about the Oak Ridge Westford Chamber of Commerce TRT fund request.
I'm not sure what the official way is to present when you're in here, but I'm gonna
However, what's
sit here so
comfortable.
that I can see everybody's face, if that's okay.
Yeah.
My name is Michelle Lemons. I'm at 76707 Highbury Road. I'm here tonight with my Chamber of Commerce President hat on. And we too are coming to you with a proposal for TRT funds, not the RTMP, but the TRT funds. And we are asking for $14,175. There was a packet that went out that breaks down what those 9 items are that we're asking for. And keep in mind that if you look at the budget there, you'll see that there really isn't that much budget in this, what we're asking for marketing or events or things like that. That's all money that we have to go out and get in order to make those things happen. And so you might notice that, for instance, marketing says $800, but we'll probably, this is not our overall budget. We would probably be spending some extra money on marketing this year. We have to pay for like food and things like that for our events. And there is a small increase to our executive assistant this year, like it's a couple $1,000, I believe, is going to be what we're giving her a raise for. This year we had some major accomplishments that would not have happened without some mayor's help. We needed a paid staff person to really push the chamber forward and to grow it, which is what happened this last year. We elevated our profile in the community. We held a candidates forum, we helped out with the Banner Bank opening and creating a fundraiser with the Mubra folks to get a kiosk in place there. So one of the things that we're really focusing on is how do we partner with other organizations and businesses in the community to bring our profile up, and also to help people network and understand what kind of resources we all have together to see what we can realize for economic development in our community. So, you know, in that way, we're really diversifying the people who are coming into the chamber and really being a part of it. We're hoping this year that we're going to do more outreach out on the Highway 58 area, so we can like really get that community more involved. And then we're also hoping that we can help revive the Economic Development Committee with the city of Oak Ridge, which I think we can all agree there could definitely be an infusion of energy focused on economic development in our community. And the industrial park, you know, has a new business, the metals company that just moved in there, and they just came on board with the chamber as a member. And there's a big interest in the community about creating a wood crafter center over there. And so I think there's definitely a renewed interest in that. We hope to help revive that in the next year. We also created a new website this year, and I'll try and get through this pretty quickly because I know you guys want to get me tonight. Y'all can visit the website. It just looks way more professional. It's extremely functional. You can sign up. It takes money. It puts members in certain categories. You can sponsor different events. There's a community hub now for events that are happening all around the community. So as in other communities, Oak Ridge now has a place that when folks want to come and visit here as a destination, they can look up dates and they can see what kind of events are taking place here. And it's all kind of lives in one central unit. We're also hoping to partner with the city this year on the Lane County Travel Guide to elevate regional presence in the community as well. We're also collaborating more with Ubra. Yeah, so we've done a lot of things in this last year, and we're hoping to keep that momentum moving forward. We're hoping again to be a driver in the economic development community, hopefully the committee with the city. And I guess one more thing on that is that we are also partnering with RAIN and Lane Workforce Development and Travel Lane County, and we have an open invitation to mayors of both Westboro and Oak Ridge to join on those meetings with those calls. That's the Chamber Partners Group. And one of the things that the Chamber does also is help support other organizations in their grant requests of getting more resources into this community, and also working together when we write grants with other organizations, as well as them having us help them when they write grants, reviewing those things. So that's also a part of what we will intend to do more of as well. There's a much deeper breakdown of everything in the packet items. Feel free to go through that. And I don't know if there's any questions that anybody.
Great. Any questions?
I
No, I'm
have a
sorry.
question. So how much did we just do this last year? Small.
No, it got missed, so it should have came to us before budget season, and so this is kind of retroactive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, okay. And so right now we only have
14.
not quite 15,000 in that budget.
14,869. I was just looking at our disbursement for GRP per month, and they do kind of slow down in the winter. Because less people are staying in hotels, obviously, summer's bigger. For instance, like some summer months we get like almost 4,000. Winter months, sometimes we get like 900. I saw was like the lowest.
Okay.
But again, that's going up like
And-
2%. So
And so the Lane County travel guides, does that come out of TRT? Where does that come from?
All the block grants for all the businesses come out of TRT. There's several things that we would come out of TRT.
Setting aside TRT money for projects.
Yeah, it's more project based. So I have a question for you. I think it's kind of obvious we only have 14,000 in the bank, and you guys are asking for that, so it creates a
Right.
hardship. So just putting that out there to start. What if we were to offer, a partial and then to reevaluate it when we have more things come in, so that we can make sure we keep you guys going and keep the momentum and keep your wheels spinning, but also make sure that we don't deplete, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that we can and then maybe reevaluate in a few months and then see where we're at and where your guys are at, so that we both can keep each other going. I mean, how would that affect you guys?
That's a good question, and I'm not like the treasurer of the chamber. I guess what I would say is if we could maybe do like, half, or at least like the next 3 months, and then we could come back again and
That's
just
actually-
reevaluate where we're at.
Yeah.
At that point.
That was actually my thought was, how would it work if we did half, and then we kind of, I went there, and I know I wanted to bring something up. This has come I know when I first started as counselor, it was kind of I think that was the year that it was like the first big ask. I know I had Colleen look up these numbers for me in 2019. I remember, let's say it was it was almost $10,000 ask. And at that time, I think Linda had just came on board and, I don't remember all the projects that were, but it was a big ask for our TRT fund, and we did do it, and we were supposed to survey the businesses in town and see how the chambers was meeting their needs and then where the gaps were. And I don't know that that survey's ever been done. So I think it would be both an advantage to the city and an advantage to you guys to make sure that that survey happens. And then, just my opinion, but maybe fund you guys half, like you said, like we suggested, and then reevaluate shortly. And James could keep us updated where the money's at, so that. Just my thought.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
Counselor.
I agree. I was actually feeling more generous, like
Okay.
10,000. Just because I know they're doing a lot of important items that really impact a lot of different businesses
Mhm.
in a lot of different parts of our communities. I was feeling more generous.
Do you have something?
I do have a couple things for Michelle, and then a quick question for James was, do you know what our annual budget is for TRT? Is it like 19,000 this year, or maybe Colleen, do you know off the top of your head?
Wow. $25,000 is what we got. Last fiscal year.
Last fiscal year?
21-22, we received 24,953.29, so basically $25,000.
Thank you.
In May, you said.
This
No, this,
fiscal year.
for
So
the
from-
whole year, that's how much we get. We get it every month a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And again, that's gonna go up by 2%, so assuming people still want to travel to Wayne County. It should be roughly the same or more. Because of the
Okay.
increase on taxes from 8% to 10%. Starting January 1st.
Okay.
But, there's like this summer, especially I think that'd be Olympic. Sorry, world.
Yeah.
Big track and field thing,
Yeah.
so, sorry, everything that I feel though, confused my ears, but. Yeah, roughly 25,000.
Okay, and then my questions for Michelle is, do you know how much growth you've had in the last year with your paid membership?
I am not the membership person either, and no, I don't have that information. I did look at numbers though, and also just so you all know, I just got voted into presidency this last week. And I've been on the chamber since I think March or April. So I don't have a lot of the backstory on the chamber. Looking at numbers, we were down for a while and we started to creep back up again this year. So I don't remember the exact numbers and I don't want to throw numbers out there on the public record, but I can tell you that we are starting to see an increase in people coming back to the chamber, but we did see a decrease for a little while. I can definitely have our membership person, Alyssa, our staff person, essentially put that number together for you all.
Well, I was gonna suggest that we're gonna start with a certain number now. 10,000 is probably good, in my opinion, and then maybe get that information from you guys.
Yeah.
As well as, I like your suggestion. I know we talked about that it's been
Yeah.
a few years ago.
We've talked about it a few
About
times.
doing community survey, because I can admit that one kind of thorn in my side with the chamber support. I know there were several years, you might not know this history, but there were several years where the council didn't support the chamber. So that's when Randy was no longer managing it, and you guys went for quite a few years without a person in that role. And now you have,
2016, 17.
yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
But it had to do with that there was there's well, for starters, the TRT money is money, tax, people visiting town, pay extra at the hotels, whatever. And it's for our community, go back into the community, but the chamber only represents chamber members, so. For me, it kind of feels like, wow, a lot of our TRT money is going to support a small amount of the business in Oak Ridge compared to all the businesses that are actually here, that money was supposed to be kind of spreading across. So that's what I think is important about getting a survey done about the, you know, amount of business that's being represented by the chamber is basically where I'm going with this. But I would be comfortable supporting, I think Bobby's suggestion of 10,000 is good.
I would
Is it
as
okay
well.
for me to respond?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I would say that Randy left and then there wasn't support. And I can
Right.
pretty much tell you, if you look at the numbers of businesses and who was involved, there's also a drop in support in the community. So then the thing had to be picked up by volunteers, which Linda did a fine job of doing. She's an excellent person now on the committee. And now it's time for the chamber to move forward, which is why we now have like a paid staff person to help out with that, and probably why we're seeing that increase. I would argue that the chamber is not just about people who pay a membership. That membership helps to sustain the actions of the Chamber of Commerce. And there are certain benefits that people get when they become members. But the chamber is about the entire community and all of the businesses here. That is what a chamber is for. That is the function of the chamber in any community that I've ever been involved with the chamber in. And whether people are paying or not, they definitely benefit from having the chamber engage on the workforce development committee with Lane County, or helping other organizations who are not chamber members write grants and get more money into the community to support career technical education for our kids, because we need a good workforce here. Or when chamber volunteers on our board go and spend a lot of personal time, that's more resources unpaid to have events that benefit anyone who wants to come to them. So there are membership benefits, because there has to be in order for us to make it a sustainable organization. And I would definitely say that the chamber's job is to really support economic development for everyone, not just members. So I hope that was a good answer.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback on that. I hope I didn't misrepresent myself, because I wasn't trying to suggest that the chamber's not doing a good job. Anyway,
I did not take it that way
Okay.
at all. Yeah,
okay, good.
absolutely. I did not take it that way. And it's a really good question. Thank you for asking. Thank you for sharing.
I did see though, also my second question. Maybe I guess I'm asking for elaboration. I heard you mention something about a chamber partners group, and I think it was mentioned in our paperwork too, but I don't have printed in front of me. Could you explain what that is? I don't really.
So it's kind of interesting, because I used to participate on it as for
I've
Oak
been to
Ridge
them.
Trails Alliance, or what was the Alpine Trail Crew, and I still do for that, but now I'm doing it for the chamber as well. And it is a group of basically economic development interested organizations and their leaders and their staff people that get together once a month and talk about economic development in the area.
So usually it's both mayors, maybe the RAIN, somebody from the
Yeah.
chambers, the collaborative. It's kind of a group of partners that come together to talk about
School
any
board.
type of, Rita, any type of economic driver that might be new that we could partner to kind of brainstorm and help. Or an event or something like that.
Yeah,
Is that a public meeting?
it's not a public meeting. It's more of like an organizational meeting, but it's definitely, open to anybody who wants to be part of that conversation. It's
Would it be open to
currently on Zoom.
counselors? Would it be open to counselors?
If we would love to have like counselors. but-
Okay.
You're up for another meeting, please join us. Things that they can do in the meeting, so.
So would
Okay.
you be, maybe, if we got together with you and worked on a small survey, maybe you and another
I
person with
would
us?
love to get a survey done.
Okay.
I'd love to see what the
Partner.
community needs are.
I think that would be really good. Okay,
Perfect. So
Any more?
I'll make a motion.
let me
that-
check with, was there any counselors on Zoom that had any questions? Okay, go ahead.
I'll move to approve a $10,000 to the Oak Ridge Westford Chamber of Commerce TRT fund request.
I'll second.
Motion made by Counselor Kenyon and seconded by Counselor Whitney. Last call for discussion. Okay, Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Spleedoff,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
I,
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all. Thank you for coming and talking with us, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, next item up. Oh,
Michelle?
Michelle,
yes,
Oh, sorry.
other Michelle.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was,
James
Yeah.
just said you might want to stick around for the next agenda item.
that we have? You might be interested. 9.4 Travel Lake County Visitors Guide Magazine 2023. Go ahead, James.
All right, so 9.4 is a request for $2,370 for us to be in the Travel Lane County Magazine again this year. I attached examples of last year's pages. It is for Oak Ridge and Westford. We got 3 pages in the magazine. It's distributed quite well. I'm sure people have seen it. We did this last year. It was a little bit less. I think it was just over 2,000. I don't remember exactly, but price of printing paper have gone up just like everything else. So this year, the way Travel Lane County has broken it down to keep it the same as last year, city's contribution would be $2,370. The contribution from Oak Ridge Westford Chamber of Commerce would be $525, and they already approved that at their meeting last week. And then the prices for businesses to advertise will be substantially less. It will only cost businesses $185 for a single tile, $375 for a double tile. And I'm just going to make a suggestion that maybe part of the survey that the chamber does with businesses would also be to push getting more ad from in the magazine. It looks like last year there were 8 advertisers, but I can see some of the, at least one business, won't exist next year. Maybe they can help us advertise while we do the survey. This is an idea, but so that's the breakdown. Obviously, council could get less money. That would then bump up the price for advertising to the businesses. Yeah, and obviously, if 0 businesses want in the publication, then then we would be on the hook for the money that we're promising. So makes sense. So if there's no advertising at all, it's a promise, we're promising to pay this once, and they help us too. Traveling County also reaches out to businesses. I think it would be done better locally.
So, all right, do you have anything more?
No, that's it.
Who chooses which businesses get to be showcased in the Traveling County magazine?
Whoever's willing to pay $185 a single tile and $270.
Whichever business in Oak Ridge, okay. What if there was 20? How do you choose to whittle it down to?
Oh, sorry, good question. So my understanding from talking to them is that if we got like 50 businesses, we would get more pages.
Oh,
So like last year we had 3. If they're, but if they had, 50 businesses, they would need to get them in there. So Oak Ridge Westford would have more pages in the magazine. Potentially.
yeah, this is a really good opportunity to work with the chambers to push this out to businesses more, because we've had this, but I would bet that many businesses don't know this option exists. It's very cheap to get your name out that far. I have a couple more. So this was this last year's, this one where the fairgrass is in the photo with the bike, all that, like last year's, okay. Go ahead.
Do we know how much West First contributed to their
Zero.
Good question.
part of this?
Yeah.
You know if anybody's reached out to them to contribute, considering they're showcased with us?
Mhm.
Well, I don't think there are many businesses in Westford. And I'm not seeing any that are advertised. But I think it would certainly,
There are businesses in there from Richford,
they are very deep with
Cascade, something or another.
all of this here. Thank you, you're right. So the listed ones, we can have some input on this. And most of it. Now what we want to focus on. I was referring to that.
What's the deadline?
Let's see, that's in there, no. I can't remember what they said, because I had a conversation on the phone as well. I want to say March.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was just thinking, since we have Michelle here, this could be a really good project to work on and thinking. Be a good opportunity for a couple of people here to meet with them and brainstorm more and really get it out to people, because this is a big publication. It goes out to a
It
big
goes
area.
out all over.
Yeah, big opportunity.
And maybe reach out to West Fur,
Yeah,
if they want to contribute some
go ahead.
funds as
Council.
well.
Well, this kind of piggybacks right onto the same thing I mentioned in the first topic we were discussing, but the Traveling County Guide has also been a little thorn in my side for several years, because it's almost always the same businesses. And I have asked Traveling County, how do you choose who's in there? And they said, well, typically we start by asking all the people that have been in there before, do they want to be in it again? And when it's filled up, it's filled up. They're not contacting all the other motels that we have or all the restaurants that we have. And it's actually, I don't think it might be really nice if the chamber helped with that, but it's actually a publication for it's advertising Oak Ridge all over.
Yeah.
All over.
Yeah, there's
Lake
really a
County.
lot missing from this.
And a lot of businesses don't even know that they have that opportunity.
Yeah.
I already know of a couple of motels that say that they have never, ever been contacted to be a part of this. And so again, the city paying so much to help all of our businesses, but yet very few are being contacted to participate.
But if a business knows that that exists, it doesn't stop them from calling and asking how they can get into the travel guide and and stuff themselves as well, but
Right, but it's
I feel
definitely an advantage if
Oh,
certain businesses are being contacted every year. Do you want to be in here?
no, I hear you, I hear
Yeah.
you. But if you know it exists, I mean, you have your own responsibility
I think
as well, but.
It'd be a great opportunity to work with them to get it out. I mean,
Exactly.
a simple mailing list. to really-
Exactly, because I would like to see, if Westboro is willing to contribute.
Yeah.
Because it is listing Oak Ridge and Westboro together,
Mhm.
pretty much. And then it sounds like March is when the deadline is to have.
think so. I'm 80% sure that it was sometime in the early spring,
Okay,
so we do have some plans.
so there is time to maybe see if Westboro wants to contribute a little bit and bring the burden down, but what source does this funding come out of in our budget?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's TRT.
Not our team.
No, I
No.
think this is TRT. Yeah, so I'm reading through your specifics here. So full page rate is the 45.60, which is the membership rate. So gives Oak Ridge one page. Can you explain how those numbers break down a little bit?
It covers, it basically is for the same as we had last year, so it would be 3 pages. In total. So
Even-
again, if more businesses buy. Plates, that would have to be expanded to a 4th page and 5th page.
So, but is each page the $4,500?
No, that's the 4,500 is basically for what we have now.
Okay,
Um,
so for,
Maybe we could just ask for more clarification on that, because I'm thinking of tabling this topic to come back to it when we have more information.
But just to answer your question, I think $4,560 should be city's contribution, 2,370 plus the change, of 505 plus.
oh, I get what he's saying now.
185.
He's saying that gap filled up with the businesses, right? That makes sense. So out of that 45.60, the city pays that,
Okay, yeah.
Chambers pays that, and then with each that many businesses, they fill in the gap. So if we kept having more businesses, it's gonna add on another page, which our number here might go to 3,000, or it'd be nice if they had just a breakdown per page.
And it also looks like they're willing to meet, I mean, they're open to a Zoom meeting to really discuss this more, so. Maybe that's something you can.
It sounds like it's, there's some wiggle room here, like.
Yeah.
For instance, maybe in Eugene may pay less, but they charge the businesses more. We charge $200 per cow. I don't know their exact business model. But it seems like there's a lot of flexibility.
Mhm.
They're just going off of years past the way they structured it.
Okay. And they're willing to come and talk to us about this a little more? Can we just put that in our table for whatever we table in tonight's meeting? And you come?
What I would negotiate, bring to the table, since we're on the hook for that money regardless. That's what they want for 3 pages. But if we get more businesses to buy more tiles, then what we should ask them in our negotiation is then lower the price for us. So if we get more businesses to contribute, instead of getting more pages, they just lower the price for those 3 pages. I think that that's one way we can offset the cost of that, and I will personally help sell those tiles.
So will I.
So I don't see why we can't. That was something that really upset me, was looking at who was in that the
Mhm.
last time, and I'm like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
We're missing so many businesses in here. And there was just no
Businesses that aren't even
hook
going
to go and
anywhere.
like sell that. So we need to get out there. I mean, that's important. We need all of the community to be involved in that. So. Plus some great photos we can get with the murals and,
Exactly.
yeah. I think we can bring up Highway 58 too.
Yeah. All right, are we in consensus that we would like James to bring Traveling County in to our, and table this?
Yeah, and I definitely like.
Yes, I think so.
it.
Are you just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to Westford. bring
Yeah,
Westford
and
in.
partnering with the chapter.
Chamber in on it.
Okay,
Also Trans Cascadia and don't forget Westford Lodge. I believe they've been in this before.
Yes, they have.
yeah,
They're
Yeah.
also both members of Cowley County, so they should definitely be contributing something if they.
well, that's a good point. Okay, we'll table that. Good discussion. Was there anything else that Michelle should stay for?
No.
We have a
Thank you
lot
for
of
staying, though.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thanks for coming. All right. Next one is 9.5. Am I on the right track? Discussion for setting a date for our supplemental budget. Colleen, James?
The idea is that we like to agree. To have a work session on supplemental budget, and so really this question for Colleen, I think it would be best if we had a draft of the supplemental budget sent to counselors.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of time to review it. It's kind of up to you. If you want 5 days, 7 days, I don't know. And then have a work session. to Discuss the supplemental budget, so.
Today's 15th.
Colleen, what are you thinking about for timelines? How long would it take you to email out a supplemental? The
I already have
supplemental?
this pretty much, but I would like to get it out to you guys, but there's time of things, I just been trying to kind of put it in my Excel sheet when it comes up the meetings or whatever. So
What's the soonest you could email that out?
I have it already. so
Oh.
I can send that out to you.
Oh,
And
okay.
you guys can look at it and then. Just give me feedback, on this one, and then I can start on the paperwork side of it.
Okay.
So
So if you emailed it out tomorrow or this weekend, what do you guys think?
Well, she would be emailing it out, asking for feedback,
So at
and
least
then
a week.
possibly emailing it again after any feedback is applied. And then we would all need time to review her final draft, so to speak. And then set a meeting.
So if you emailed it, we would have the weekend to look it over sometime in the week. It's really hard with the holidays.
I'd be okay with waiting till that week after Christmas,
So would I.
maybe.
How about the 28th?
So what if we had, everybody
Yeah.
needs to have their adjustments to her or email suggestions, whatever, by the 23rd? And then
Oh, I
that
would
gives-
go way before then.
Okay,
Can we have, oh, that's next. Friday.
questions, that people would have to have their questions and everything to her.
That's next Friday, never mind.
Yeah.
Thought it
So it gives
was-
people a week to look through it, get their questions to her, and then we would meet sometime next week and give her several days to, does that work?
Absolutely.
What are you thinking for a timeline, Colleen?
28th, right before the.
So today's the
For the
15th.
holiday,
I wouldn't schedule it as a work session, though. I'd schedule it as a special session.
I was thinking work session, then special session.
I mean, essentially it would be the same. thing,
Yeah.
but okay.
The only difference is special session, we would give opportunity for public comment, which I think in a supplemental budget would be important to allow for public comment. Right?
That's why I said, why don't we just schedule it as a special session
Yeah.
instead of a work session?
Okay, so what are we thinking about for the dates? So you feel that you can send it out tomorrow? Okay. So do you guys want a week to review it and get all of your questions and everything to Colleen? I'm sorry.
I will definitely need time. It'll take me some time.
So the 23rd would be 1 week. You guys
And then we
want,
would meet on the 28th.
do you want to meet on the 28th?
That's a
That is
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yes,
okay. Or even the 27th, either of those days, Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, I was thinking if we did Tuesday, the 27th, that gives her a couple days if there's more corrections, and then we could do another one on Thursday, the 29th. It leaves us a little wiggle room.
Yeah.
It's really, I think, up to you. Okay, so Colleen is gonna email out tomorrow. And then counselors, you need to have all your questions and everything to her no later than the 23rd. And then we're gonna have a special session on the 27th. And then, James, do you have any preference of work session or special session?
You could do both.
Okay,
Um,
my only preference would,
I would need to be able to get a special session if we're gonna prove it.
Well, if we end up wanting to approve it, I would,
Yeah,
that's what I
it would
the
have to
option
be a
do.
special session to prove it. Okay, let's just go with special session, make it cleaner and easier, and that way we can allow for public comment at the beginning for people that have public comment for the supplemental. We can take that into consideration while we're discussing this.
And we'll need to make sure we get that posted online so people have a chance to see it.
We have time.
Let's do 6 o'clock on the 27th, and then for good measure, let's just go ahead and schedule another meeting on the 29th at 6 o'clock as well, in case we need it, and it could possibly be canceled if we don't need it.
So
And-
2 special sessions?
Yeah, the 27th at 6 PM and the 29th at 6 PM. And I don't see any objections on the Zoom calendar, but I want to make sure. Does that work for you guys?
was
Yes.
I was thinking being out of town.
Okay,
And no, I have to talk to the wife. She's out of town right now too, but
okay. Would you be able to pop in for Zoom out of town?
they don't have internet there.
Oh, bummer.
I'd have to go to
Okay,
some business or something.
okay. How about everyone else?
that's fine with me.
Okay,
Should be fine with me.
okay. Coker?
Yes, it's fine with me.
Okay. Okay.
27th at 6, right?
Yep, and then we'll have one to follow on the 29th in case we need it at 6 as well. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you, Colleen. Moving on to 9.6. Audit Committee Resolution 06-2022, and we're also going to discuss the council rules not lining up with the committee resolution for removal of committee members.
You know what,
Do you happen to have a copy of that?
See back. Oh. You mean our council
Yeah,
rule?
what Brian was talking about, so we could
Yeah.
match.
So I can read it, or
If
it's
you,
pretty simple.
okay,
So under chapter 7. 2E. It states for removals of committee or commission. It says removals, all appointed persons may be removed by the mayor, subject to approval by the council. And then in this resolution, section 5 of conduct, it says, member of the committee may be removed from service on the committee by the city council after hearing for misconduct or non-performance of duties at the request of the committee members via a majority votes.
So essentially, it's saying if the committee wants to remove someone and their committee majority votes to send that to council, then it's up to the council.
We take it to the mayor and then the vote.
Well, everything is done by the mayor with consent of the council. So I don't see any problem with the. They're both correct. In my opinion.
So the council can remove a committee member on their own. Or a committee can make a recommendation to send to council.
Right. Well, no. The committee cannot get rid of anyone on their own.
No, they can make a recommendation.
Correct, they're recommending it to council. So if you interpret the word city council to include the mayor,
It does,
then
according to
it
the
would be
charter.
okay. As written. In my opinion.
I agree.
Can you pull up the charter? Because I happen to know for a fact it says in the charter that the council consists of 7 members, 6 councilors and a mayor. That is the council. And everything in the charter is everything we do, the council majority approves and the mayor signs. That's in the charter also.
You're correct, Counselor. Section 7 of the charter states that council shall be composed of a mayor and 6 councilors elected in the city of Arlington.
We're all the council.
So I can see that it could have been written clearer,
Mhm.
if it said, committee member may be removed from service on a committee by the mayor. Blah, 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 but I think your interpretation is right. Mayor's part of city council. I think this would pass muster.
But there's also
Well, it
nothing
does-
wrong with defining it more clearly to match what's in the charter.
But doesn't it say the mayor with council approval?
Correct. All persons may be removed by the mayor, subject to approval of the council.
Right, so there's no way the mayor can just say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this person off this committee just because I want to, unless the council has reviewed it, the whole council, and a majority vote says it's approved, then the mayor would be the one that signs off on there. That's how I interpret it.
So what I'm seeing is, what I'm hearing is based on the charter or the council rules. If there's a committee where there's an issue with a committee member that has been identified, the committee would have a discussion about that and basically come to a vote or a consensus to say we want this to go to the mayor to take to council for council approval to remove this person from the committee. That's the flow that I'm seeing was the intent.
Yeah, and so the way I wrote, obviously, the charter trumps all.
Yes.
So council and the mayor could remove someone from a committee without any recommendation from that committee.
Exactly.
If they want to. This kind of puts in an extra step, allowing this committee, if they want to, it says may, they can make that request to council after hearing for misconduct of non-performance duties at the request of the committee.
So there's 2 different avenues, is what I'm hearing you say, to be able to remove somebody. So you can have the recommendation come from a committee, or you can have the mayor make the recommendation to council and council vote on it.
But
Or they can flow together. I mean, they can work together.
so couldn't
So
the counselor make the recommendation to council as well?
it says in the
They could.
charter, it says mayor with
but the mayor has to do it.
with approval of council, so it's the mayor that does it.
Well, that's
Um,
no different than anything else. I'm just saying, couldn't a counselor bring it before council and say, hey, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and then everybody votes, and then the mayor signs it.
It says recommendation of the mayor, right?
No, it just says, all appointed persons may be removed by the mayor, subject to approval by the council.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that the recommendation has to only come from the mayor.
That's the way I was seeing it, but, I don't see any reason why at some point we couldn't add the clarifying information for that second avenue of being able to remove somebody from the charter to the council rules, so it's more clear within the council rules, because what I heard you say was there's basically two avenues to be able to remove somebody. There's the avenue where the committee meets and they have somebody that they're having issues or concerns with, and they make they have a vote, then they make a recommendation, it comes to council. And I would say, personally, I think it would go through the mayor. Or the mayor can just come in and make the recommendation, and maybe it's counselors that have come to the mayor or whatever, but.
Why wouldn't it go to the city administrator? I mean, when
They
somebody
could.
turns in an application, it goes to the city administrator. I don't take applications. for
Yeah, I don't know,
committees.
it
That goes
could,
through him.
it could. I mean,
Well,
it's-
yeah, Mary, if you remember, technically you appoint people to all the committees,
Mhm,
subject to approval from council. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's the reverse.
mhm.
Um, Yeah, so I think it's okay. This kind of. When we look at the charter, when charter reviews, we might want to add more to chapter 7, because right now, it really doesn't give much in the way of due process for the person being kicked off. Just as all appointed persons may be removed by the mayor, subject to approval from the council. Doesn't say they get a hearing or anything like that. Obviously, council could give that to them, because it doesn't specify how, what the process is. In this committee resolution, it does specify they will get a hearing for misconduct or non-performance of duties. But it's not necessary that they get that hearing. Again, council, the mayor could totally overstep the committee and not get a recognition from the committee and remove that person based on the charter.
Go ahead.
So, the administration committee is the one who reviewed, and actually, Mr. Brian Ketchum was on the admin committee when we did all these resolutions. And I believe they were all made to match, so all the ones that have been previously approved probably have the same exact language. I think there were 7 committees and only 2 of them haven't been approved, is that right? So 5 of them have been approved. We could actually pull up on the city's website all the other resolutions that were approved and see if they have that same language. I think it's like 06/20.
Yeah, so you can do that way, or you go on the city's website, government committees, and then each committee, with the exception of a couple, we have.
Is the resolutions under there?
For most committees, yes, there's a couple that we haven't.
You mean the resolution that creates the committee?
Yeah, so like, admin committee is 20-2020. Parks is 17-2020.
Okay, since you are, oh, you don't have it pulled up?
No, I'm getting there.
I take this. Were they resolutions or ordinances?
Resolutions.
Yeah, they're not loading.
Oh,
So
Well,
20.
I'm finding they're blacked out, so I don't know if they're gonna load from the website or not.
Well, here's the one for the administration advisory committee, so I'll pull it up. By conduct, a member of the committee may be removed from the committee by the city council for misconduct or non-performance of duties at the request of the committee members via a simple majority vote. A voting member who misses 3 consecutive meetings without reasonable cause shall be considered non-performing. Absences known in advance should be communicated to the chairperson as soon as possible. Is that what's in the resolution that's before us tonight?
Slightly different, it doesn't have the 3 absences, for example,
Oh,
but the first part of the language is similar.
well, let me pull up another one. I'm really surprised because I know Trish went to great lengths to try and get all the
To match.
committees to match as much as possible wherever they could. And so I'll pull up another
Yeah,
one, but at least
that's the
we
same
know.
thing in Parks and Community Services. Same
Okay,
language.
so we've approved them before, so it seems like it is legitimate. I would like to make a motion to approve this. Do you have the recommendation? Sorry, I don't.
That's the audit committee.
Is that the one, or were they both in question?
Yes, both at the same time.
Okay. I move that we adopt the audit committee resolution 06-2022, which will repeal and replace resolutions 15-2013 and 2-2012.
For a second.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Kenyon and seconded by Counselor Hooker, open for discussion.
Wall to wall carpet, yeah, that's it.
Language in the proposal doesn't match. Were you saying to adjust that to match the other resolutions?
No, I don't necessarily want to nitpick the whole thing apart now. I know that the committee did all of these at the same time and tried to make them all match as best as possible at that time. And these are exactly what came out of the committee recommendation.
But I remember, see, and I can't remember the exact details, but I do remember that there was a reason we didn't approve them at the time. I just can't remember the details.
We didn't actually discuss this one at all, ever.
Okay.
Well, I remember I thought the reason was that we were holding off on this was all the other committees, we made 7. And there was some, we weren't sure if this one we were gonna make 7 at the time. Because this committee was only 2 mayor and council and 1 citizen, so I thought there was discussion.
It's
on whether
actually
to do it.
2 counselors and 1 citizen. It doesn't specify the.
Oh, sorry, 2 councilors, 1 citizen.
I mean, a mayor, it
Yeah,
could be 1. I just know that this one and the other one that we're reviewing tonight have never come to council to
Yeah.
be discussed.
it didn't come to council. Yeah,
In my opinion, I think it's totally fine to have the committees have different standards. For instance, some committees, 3 absences is considered non-performance, but like a budget committee, you wouldn't want 3 absences. That would be very detrimental, so a budget committee consider 1 or 2 unexcused absences. As long as it doesn't try to deviate from the charter. Charter requires mayor doing it, council approval. I think the language in here is fine because it's saying only city council can remove from just a recommendation to come from the committee. I think it's fine that committees interpret what employee's non-performance or misconduct when making their recommendation. Because ultimately the decision is up to council. It would be problematic if it said the committee could kick someone off by themselves. and
Right.
never come to council, but.
Yeah.
It's coming to council.
Is there any discussion from the members on Zoom, counselors? So Whitney, did you have anything?
No, I don't.
So Kenyon?
Well, I actually reviewed, rules on adopting resolutions, and we should offer public comment. It's in our council rules.
Do we have on the audit resolution, right?
On any resolution that's before the council, we should be offering public comment.
Unless, oh, yes, correct.
Do we have any public comment both in the room or on the Zoom regarding resolution for the audit committee 062022? Go ahead, Brian.
So this, my point, what wasn't, mayor. Read it, it mandates that the city council receive that recommendation from the committee. After a hearing by the committee on performance. So, in words, the city council found out through other meetings that they had a committee member that was fraudulent or something like that. They would kind of directly remove, but the way this reads is that you would be expecting the committee to bring the recommendation forward. I just don't. You're gonna have language not match what your rules and procedures.
So I look at it as either or, either there's two options for people. Well, I read as the council rules, it could be an option, somebody's on a committee and they do suspect fraud or whatever, let's put that out there. Maybe they don't want to bring it up to their whole committee, maybe they feel more comfortable bringing it to the CA and the mayor, and then they can take it from there instead of taking it to their whole committee for a vote.
Yeah, it also, it doesn't specify. It actually doesn't specify who is gonna hold that hearing, it just says after misconduct or non-performance of duties. At the request of the committee members via a majority vote. Then maybe with what that hearing looks like, that hearing could be from the committee.
Could be council.
It could be council.
And
That's, it's ambiguous, which is fine, that actually follows case law. There's a federal court. If you were firing someone, you had to give them a name clearing hearing. But that would, if it's not defined, that could be an opportunity to talk to your boss for 5 minutes, or it could mean a full arbitration with an arbitrator lasting many days. You just had to have some opportunity to be heard, so it's okay, it's ambiguous like that.
So, yeah, so what he just spoke to is what I was talking about earlier about the two different avenues. And I think it's the council rules that really need to be a little more defined again to add both those avenues in there, so it's very clear that there's more than one way to get there.
So you're suggesting council rules need to be looked at?
That is one of my suggestions, that you,
added.
yeah, that it needs to be added and more clearly defined in council rules. Where it isn't, it makes it more clear that there's more than one avenue of being able to remove somebody.
Or better yet, amend the charter eventually to make it.
Mhm.
Because charter is everything, so I mean, this is kind of like, so in the United States, there were sleeper laws for abortion. There are many states where abortion was illegal, but Roe v. Wade trumped that. The laws are still on the books, but as soon as Roe v. Wade fell, the next day in those states,
Mhm.
it was
Yeah,
illegal.
so I mean, it's easier to go in, do something with the council rules. With the council right now to address it now, because the charter review has a lot more steps to it, yeah, so it would be easier to do that and get it defined quicker and, you know, have something that's better for people to work off of now opposed to, you know, so.
Are you still open for public comment?
Yes, go ahead.
Just a suggestion, why don't you send it to the admin committee to look at this problem, figure out a solution, and come back instead of anchoring on this for so many minutes in the city council.
If we're gonna do that, then I would suggest we would review all,
Well, we're actually in the middle, we're in discussion for a middle of a motion, so somebody would need to take their motion off the table for the audit.
oh, I don't wanna take my motion off the table. Like to vote. I'll call for the question.
Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Splitoff, I didn't hear you.
Okay, I was muted.
Counselor Splitoff, okay. Counselor Bjarnson,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Nay.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Kenyon,
Aye,
Motion passed, thank you.
Well,
I would,
I just got just point of order, resolution, and since it's not a unanimous vote, we have to go through the,
that's right, actually,
Process
another
of,
reading.
second reading during the next, council meeting.
Yep.
Public hearing.
Can you repeat that, James, please?
I believe we have to go through the process now for all resolutions, where there has to be time for, public hearing and then second reading during the next council meeting. The only way to, pass a resolution on the first reading is to read it twice, and both votes must be unanimous.
Correct.
So this resolution didn't just pass because it wasn't unanimous?
It passed on the first reading, but it will require a second reading at the next council meeting.
Okay,
Thank you, James. Can you add that to the next agenda?
but we still need to do the reading.
Do you think?
Guess I'll add that afterwards, like your suggestion. Do I need to read the entirety or just by title?
Entirely.
So the entire page?
Yep.
Yippee.
Mhm.
All right. I can read it. Resolution 06-2022, a resolution repealing and replacing resolution 15-2013 and 2-2012, the City of Oak Ridge Audit Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge Council desires to repeal and replace the previous audit committee resolutions, and whereas the purpose of the audit committee will be to aid city staff in the selection of a highly qualified city auditors and to assure clear and complete transmittal of audit results to the city council and the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment and membership. The Oak Ridge Audit Committee is hereby established. The committee shall consist of 3 voting members, 2 city councilors, and 1 budget committee member, ex officio members, city finance director. The committee will, at its first meeting in January of each year, or at any point in the year by majority vote, elect a chair, vice chair, and secretary from the voting members. Section 2, term. The citizen budget committee member of the committee shall be appointed for a 2-year term. Council representatives shall serve for their elected term. Section 3, quorum and rules. 2 voting members of the committee shall constitute a quorum. The vote of 2 members of the committee shall be required to take any action. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the chair, or in the chair's absence, the vice chair may establish the date and time of the next committee meeting. Section 4, responsibilities. The responsibilities of the audit committee shall be as follows. Number one, review with the finance department and or staff those firms or individuals proposed for appointment as city auditors in succeeding years. Recommended to the city council, number two, recommend to the city council the appointment of the auditing firm that the committee deems best suited to perform the annual audit. Number three, discuss as necessary with the city auditors any additional or particular areas of inquiry or audit focus which the auditors or the committee deem desirable or appropriate. Number four, review the communication to the governing body presented by the auditors. Discuss the material weaknesses and or significant deficiencies, if any, and best practices, recommendations, if any, with the finance department and or staff. Verify the auditor's recommendations are implemented as appropriate and report to the city council. Number five, other activities assigned by city council. Number six, keep records of minutes for each meeting per ORS 192.650. 7, annual reports will be completed in the fourth quarter of the calendar year. Number 8, reports of recommendations of the audit committee shall be in writing, considered advisory in nature, and shall not be binding on the mayor or the city council. Section 5, conduct. A member of the committee may be removed from service on committee by the city council after a hearing for misconduct or non-performance of duties at the request of the committee members via a majority vote. Passed by the council of the city of Oak Ridge this, do I say today's date? Or will it be the next
30
meeting's date?
days.
So it'd be January 15th.
Well, actually, it would be 30 days after the
The next
final
meeting.
passage, so I would
Not
just
read the
skip
date.
the date.
Okay. That is all. All right. I just wanted to say one more thing. I do think that it's a good idea, at least to discuss, as Councillor Whitney stated, mirroring the council rules. So maybe put that on your list of things for January when the new officials take seat. And it's a good time to review council rules anyway at that time with new officers. Excuse me, new elected officials.
Because there were some things in there that.
There has
we
been a
found that
few
didn't
things,
Go very
yeah.
well.
Yeah, there has been a few things. All right, next thing on the agenda. And our time is 7:57. So we are ending at audit committee 9.6. And when do we want to pick up this meeting, the rest of the meeting? Would people feel comfortable tacking it on to the meeting that we have for the supplemental budget,
I would.
which is the 27th? Doing supplemental first and then picking this up. So special meeting first and then a continuation of the regular meeting. What do you guys think? What are the preferences?
That's fine.
I do.
That second special.
Mhm.
I would agree to that.
Okay,
That works for me.
That's fine.
Works for me.
me too. Okay. You got that, James?
Yes.
Okay. So we're ending in business from the city council at 9.6, but we have 3 minutes. Do you have anything for staff reports real quick? Or things that you really want to say to, I know the Catholic Community Services is coming up soon. Do you have anything you wanted to
So
say?
Catholic Community Services are coming the first Wednesday of every month, from 10 to 3 here at City Hall to help folks apply for utility bill reduction programs in person. So, folks need help applying for those things, send them to City Hall first Wednesday, every month, 10 to 3.
Just into City Hall, the front desk, because I've already had one person who sent in.
We were gonna have them in the conference room. I think we might have it. That was less bother. Now this room is
Are they in here all day long?
10 to 3.
10 to 3, okay.
And that's for LIHEAP.
Yeah, Lucky and the other one,
Liwa.
Lila.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yes. The first time I heard, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Liwa, yeah, LIHWA.
Did you have, go ahead, Councilor Kenyon.
Sorry, other things I wanted to report, last meeting, we talked about the council meeting videos that we couldn't find during the Cronin era. We have found those. They've all been downloaded to YouTube with the exception of January 6th, 22.
That wouldn't have been Cronin.
Right, correct. For some reason, we haven't done that, but we're still looking at it. So we might be missing one meeting, which is January 6th of 22. Still,
It would have been the first meeting of the year.
also, Westford and Hazeldale both approved their portion of funding for this fire district research project.
Feasibility study.
Feasibility study, thank you. I approved EAP coverage for the 9 volunteer firefighter employees who were involved in the tragedy on Saturday. That's a cost for the city of $2.45 a month for the next 4 months. So what that provides them is access to up to 5 counseling sessions, 24-hour phone counseling sessions, et cetera. A lot of great resources that full-time employees automatically get. Our volunteer employees currently do not get that. But I just wanted council to know that we have provided that. We're talking pennies on the dollar, again, $2.45 per month times those 9 employees. I'm going to bring a proposal to council later that we cover all of our volunteer emergency responders to receive those benefits. Because they see a lot of trauma, should have access, right, into counseling.
Yeah, what about the same for police office reserves?
Right, I would suggest that. But the reason I bring it up now is just to let people know that as a city, we have addressed that to fill that gap, because that was kind of horrific for some people.
Yeah, and I could say as a government employee for many years, EAP is fantastic.
Yeah,
They really are.
absolutely. I even have that in private sector.
And councilors didn't notice that today I got a update on the warming center. It's already been open 10 days this month. We're only December 15th, so in 15 days, it's been open 10 days. It was emailed to you guys today. There's too many people to thank for the time we have, but take a look at that. We'll post this maybe on our website or a revised version. Really appreciate people volunteering, because it is again overnight. They still need more volunteers. There's a Facebook page. It's also on the city website. So if people are willing to 4-hour shift, 3 or 4 hours, whatever, 3 or 4 hour shift, you'll be with someone else. If you want to contribute to the community, that's a great way to do it. Also wanted to thank Walmart publicly. They donated $1,000 worth of Christmas lights, half of which the city has utilized. Last night, I lit up the OIP office building. The other half we donated to kids at the parade.
Cool.
So thank you, Walmart, for that. I think that's all.
Well, you got another meeting to say the rest, so. I just want to say one thank you that many of us were involved in that accident. I really appreciate James being Johnny on the spot and making sure that that got done right away for everybody that needed it. So. Go ahead.
I wanted to just ask the question, would it be appropriate to take a couple of minutes to take care of the election certifications and the 2 RFPs, because
Good idea.
I don't think they are gonna require any
fine.
discussion.
I can live with that.
Okay. Council, are you in agreement to take care of that too?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. So that is 9.10.
Okay, we are required as a city to approve the certified election results. So I sent council the certified election results certified by Wayne County Clerk in North Dawson, showing the voting results. Obviously, it's the Oak Ridge stuff that is most pertinent to us. We could challenge any of these races if we wanted to. But there just needs to be a simple motion that we approve certified election results given to us by Lane County. Jackie, is that accurate statement as our elections officer? Or is that did I say that correctly? That we need to approve the certified results? I've seen her shake her head yes, and that's what we need to do. So between the motion.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. I move to approve the certified election results.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Whitney and seconded by Counselor Kenyon. Is there any discussion from counselors? All right, Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Splitoff,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Yes.
9.13 for the WAC.
Do you have the recommended motion?
Sorry, what number again?
9.13.
Oh, I have it. I move to approve the RFP for the work on the WAC roof and electrical system.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Whitney and seconded by Counselor Kenyon. Is there any discussion on, or actually, let's let James go ahead and just give a brief discussion.
So the RFP is not finished yet. We've had lots of discussion with the council. I hope you would trust me, well, not just me, but Rick and Ed Hodges, the engineer, the whole team to write the RFP. They're kind of complicated when it deals with construction, but those are for the 2 projects we'd like to do right away, or to get bids for right away, is the roof and electrical. So basically, I'm just asking for motion to write it, post it, get it out there.
So after you write it and everything, we don't have to review it again. You can just push it out, right?
If
I'm hoping that's what you're saying.
that's what I'm
Okay.
asking for.
That's what I'm hoping for. Council, do you have any questions on Zoom? Questions? All right, Jackie, will you call for the vote?
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Splitoff,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, guys. Did we want to do the RFP for the new auditor real fast?
Yeah.
9.14.
All right, so this RFP is drafted. Already. It's to. Get a new auditor. Part that might be contention is what to do with our current auditor. We have to notify them by the end of this year. That we are not renewing with Polly Rogers if we want to get out of our contract. I don't know where this got changed. The original RFP where we hired Polly Rogers said we could cancel by March 15th in the actual contract. Yeah, for 6 months. So we have to tell them earlier. But it is what it is. Colleen, did you be able to contact Isley?
I left a message.
Okay. So we believe that LCOG's, the reason this is the problem is if we tell them we're done with them and we can't find a new auditor, that would be bad, an auditor. However, I think someone will bid on us. Secondly, as a member of LCOG, we have the option to use the same auditing firm they do, which is Eisler CPA located in Eugene, Oregon. We got that confirmed from LCOG, but LCOG told us, contact Isley to find out how much they're gonna charge, et cetera. And you placed Coca-Cola too now, and they haven't called us back, which is not a great sign. But it's only been,
It's the end of the year and audits are due on December 31st for every city in the state of Oregon.
They probably just shut their phones off.
I can see why they haven't called you back yet.
That's a hard one, because I think we all probably have the same feeling on our current, we want to make sure we don't get stuck in this contract, but obviously, like James says, we don't want to be up a creek without a paddle,
right,
right?
because there's no way we could put the RFP out, get everything in, have the proposals in, review them by the end of the year. There's just no way.
By the end of this,
the end of this year.
December 31st, no way.
So do we want to roll the dice and go ahead and cut ties with Carl Rogers? I assume we'll be able to find a new auditor, but never had a certain auditor before.
They were the only response for the last one.
Yeah, but
But we don't know
but-
if they were not the only person that was reached out to on the
Exactly.
RFP.
Isley wasn't reached out to, LCOG wasn't reached out to last time.
And there was a high recommendation from our previous finance director who's worked with Polly Rogers before.
Which we didn't know that.
Well, I get my glasses on. I move to approve the RFP for the new auditor with the following modifications of notifying the current auditor that we will no longer require their services.
May I, under the friendly
Yes.
minutes, to add by December 31st, we would notify them.
By December 31st.
That work?
I'll second.
No. Yeah, okay.
You want me to
Motion
reread them?
made by Counselor Whitney. And Jackie, did you get the friendly amendment? Okay, and then seconded by Counselor Sweetoff. Thank you. Open for discussion.
Well, I just want to point out that in case there's anybody on council that doesn't know, which I doubt, but for the public's knowledge as well, our audit that we just received a few weeks ago, a month ago, was due a year ago to the state of Oregon by December 31st of last year, and we just got it. And we have hired that company in the past, many, many years ago. And for 3 years, we never presented this city with an audit, 3 years straight, 0 audits.
And it put this city almost in
And
bankruptcy.
yeah, and the city, I don't know if we all remember the D-Day, 2011. But anyway, I was not in favor of rehiring this company, but we did. The council approved it. They took a year to get an audit done that in their contract states they would have done within 6 months. It says in there, this audit will be done in 6 months from July 1st, so due December 31st. And it wasn't done. And we repeatedly, Colleen's made several phone calls, I've made several phone calls, we've had meetings after meetings with them, asking them, why isn't this done?
Multiple email chains.
Yeah. And You know, I don't want to go through that again. We already know, we've already been forewarned that the audit that they're currently working on right now, which is due December 31st of this year,
Have they even
we've already
started on
been
it?
told that it will not be done until at least March, maybe
No.
June.
No, that it
So
won't be
we
done.
will not, I don't want to.
We're locked into contract with them right now, so we are forced to use them, and this year's, so last FY is due in a matter of 2 weeks, and they haven't started it, correct? That's bad. And
We're
there's.
locked into a contract that they're not upholding their end of.
Right.
Yep, we're locked
Well, I
into it.
mean, we can give them notice. We have that option.
Well, we would have had to have given them notice
No,
last
I
year,
mean,
right?
We can
Yeah.
give them notice now for the third audit
Yes.
that's in the contract, but we
Exactly.
are obligated for the second one.
We're locked in for this one. And
Tell
we,
them.
yeah, yeah. We tried and tried to get out of it, and it's really, really unfortunate. And honestly, we're this far into the year, I don't think another auditing firm would want to jump into this late anyways, so next year is predictably going to be awful for audit season, so I'm sorry, Colleen.
We'll have
Don't.
two audits.
Yeah.
at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, Counselor Slido.
Can't we get out of it because they are not fulfilling their part of the contract?
No, that's what we just said, that we're locked into it.
No, actually,
I don't
This year,
understand.
Well, he's right. I think he's right that because they're not actually abiding by the contract. We could get
Yeah,
out of it,
but I-
but then we'd also have to find the new
yeah, that's what I
auditor
was just saying, nobody else would jump on and take us.
to start an audit right now that's due in 8 days. It ain't
So
gonna-
what's this gonna cost us then?
The same,
Same as we approved when we hired them 2 years ago.
No, we're not getting our audit done.
There's no financial
Okay,
unless we don't meet a deadline, right? We got withheld, we had to,
but they give the money back,
yeah,
They
the
just-
state of Oregon withheld some of our state shared revenues,
10%.
10% until we got the audit done, and then they gave it back to us.
okay, thank you.
and to answer this question, there is no escape clause for non-performance of their duties.
We
Oh,
looked
there's
at this
not?
before, we
Yeah.
did, the three of us were like, there's gotta be something, and
And I will make sure that in the new contract, that we
yeah,
have that in. that
Yeah.
They have to.
Thank you,
meet
Jen.
deadline.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow,
It's been a rough one. for
thank
this
you,
audit.
Audie.
Any other questions? All right, can you call for the vote?
Counselor Hooker,
Hi,
Counselor Bjornson,
I,
Counselor Whitney,
I,
Counselor Kenyon, Mayor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
hi.
Counselor Splietoff.
Okay. James, would you just look through the agenda items and just make sure there's nothing that I missed that absolutely really needs to be done?
Just one small thing, if I could,
Go ahead.
give part of my, comment to Rick, there's been a change in state law that.
Okay, yeah, I'll make it quick.
Sure, yeah.
Because I have a permit issue that I wanted to let you guys know before actually proceeding with the permit. It's for a tiny home, just under 400 square feet. There's been a change in Oregon, land use, which allows the homeowner for a different set of codes. It's not the Oregon structural codes, it's Oregon tiny home structural codes. And the second part is our land use ordinance. I have no choice but to deviate from it. Because we have a speculation or a stipulation in there that says for a accessory dwelling unit that it must be owner occupied by either the two residential units. In 2019, Oregon land use specifically says that reasonability for local regulations regulating the design and designing does not include owner occupancy requirements of either primary or accessory structure, requirements to construct additional off-street parking. So basically, they null and void the part of our zoning ordinance. I'm gonna have to just but with Oregon State, it trumps. So, it's just a heads up. I'd rather tell you before than after, but that's basically in a nutshell is due to new law, I have to basically ignore part of our zoning ordinance.
So do you think we're gonna see more tiny houses pop up or?
You might.
Yeah, I honestly think that's a good possibility here.
I can't hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's some pros and cons there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Anything last? Anything? Okay, no more go backs. All right, any more council comments? Okay, public comment, anybody in the audience here that has anything to say? Karen, no? Lou, go ahead, guys.
I'd say just one little thing about, so while I was talking, my name is Louis Laporte, 49153 County Road. I talked to a young man down there, I used to work with a Caterpillar dealer, and he was telling me about taking out and four-wheel, take their buggies out, and I think the subject came up here one time about off-road and that stuff. But a heads up type people, and they got mixed up with government enforcement up here at this Huckleberry Loop, or Huckleberry
Flat?
RV
Yeah.
or whatever, and he mentioned, now I don't know if it's open today or not, because there shouldn't be any fire restrictions, but I think he said something about, because the fire got real close up in there. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know who the contact people are to see if something's open. They said they were willing to help clean up stuff up there too, you know, they're pretty much heads up bunch of guys and stuff. I've had a lot of fun with it. I don't know if the city of Oak Ridge has anything to do with Forest was closing down something. At the time, over the smoke and the fire danger, they closed down something up there, and he's saying that it's just an idea, you know, that's what the people coming into town and stuff.
You talking about the writing
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
Is it open today?
it's open, and there's actually a crew of people that maintain those trails and build.
Yeah.
A volunteer group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he would contact the Forest Service if he wanted to get involved in that. Forest Service manages that whole thing, right?
Yeah, because it's, these are the kind of guys that go up and tear it up, you know, that kind of thing, at the time. And I was surprised that you mentioned, this golf too, and I would have never thought that coming from him, you know, I just think that's what, I don't know, if he knows you're even available up here. For this kind of thing.
Oh, you should tell him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just stopped by, was to that for a few minutes here one day last week. Yeah,
Thanks, Lou.
yeah. Activity for those guys, you know, you're, you know, the job every day, getting their good people.
all right, anybody else, anything else?
This
All right.
is, it's a pleasure for me to get to know, really, I'm wanting to know the really behind the scenes and ins and outs of how Oak Ridge is functioning, and this is the way to do it, because things that being little, they're not little at all, you know, but it's just all important, and it really, things like the, you know, various portions of the budget and stuff that we were talked about tonight. It's just, I hope it continues to be a meeting. This felt like a meeting of just real people that live in the city where I live. That's how it felt to me, and I hope it continues to feel like that. I appreciate being here and being able to listen. I appreciate all of you guys, and I appreciate you, Chris.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for coming. Anybody on, you didn't have anything in the back? No.
No, I don't do that.
Okay. Anybody on the Zoom with public comment?
Dan
Calling,
Barkley,
Dan Barclay? Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
you muted Dan.
Sorry about that. Dan Barclay, Barclay for George Custer's benefit, 47501 Highway 58. And just, and I apologize because I'm balancing about 5 different things, but First off, I want to commend both Mayor Hollett and Councilor Whitney. 4 years ago, from the moment they took their oath of office, they inherited a plate full of crap left behind unnecessarily from the prior council, in addition to the business they've conducted over the 4 years as a matter of normal routine that couldn't be finished up by the prior council. But I did want to commend them. Not my habit to thank people for doing the job that they wanted to do, but I do commend them that they stuck it out. More council members have been selected by council motion than the ballot box. And that's a long time trend there. And I appreciate both of them sticking it out and doing their full term. The second issue, and I apologize because I missed much of the meeting, and I don't know if 9.7 was discussed, but the bonding on the city recorder and city administrator are covered in sections 21 and 22 of the city charter. Both of those requirements, well, one of those requirements was set aside more than 3 years ago. And instead of making the choice, which would be a third option, section 22 of the charter also says, in the recorder's absence from a council meeting, the city administrator shall appoint a clerk of council pro tem who, while acting in the capacity, shall have all the authority and duties of the recorder except over financial issues. And the reason for the bonding on the recorder is because up until 2019, it was dual-headed, one person doing both jobs. Had the decision been made to appoint, and council can't direct it, but the city administrator can certainly choose that, to redesignate the city recorder as the clerk of council pro tem that does not have a 6-month timeline, and like the CA does, it would satisfy the spirit of the charter, eliminate a third bond on city staff, which is only there to safeguard finances for the city, but it specifically says that the clerk pro tem shall have all the authority and duties of the recorder except over financial issues. That way, the bonding purpose is satisfied. We have 2 bonds instead of 3, which the cost of those bonds isn't significant, but it restores the charter. You know, it's within the charter that's been set aside for more than 3 years now, and refer it to the charter committee. Should the city administrator make that decision, it refers the matter to the charter committee to rewrite the narrative for section 22 and satisfies. And for me, if nothing else, it's ironic that the person that made that decision in October 2019 will swear or affirm an oath next month to support and uphold the city charter, in which case I would recommend that all councilors, those taking their oath of office next month and those that remain in office, routinely and periodically go back and review the charter. Don't become too familiar with it. There's always something to learn in it. And periodically, it's not a bad idea to go back and review the document that you have sworn an oath and made a commitment to uphold. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate the sentiment too. Thank you. Is there anything else in the public comment? I'm sorry, I can't see all the hands there. Do you see anyone, Colleen or
No.
Audie? Thank you.
None.
I
Okay.
don't see any.
Okay, thank you, guys. All right, we are at the end of our meeting tonight, and we are going to suspend the meeting until, again, the 27th. So we will finish up this agenda on that night. Good night, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.